Hello and welcome to Crypto Invest TV. I'm your host X8, followed by the Underdoge, and today we'll be starting off things a little different considering that the market's not really, doing a whole bunch these days. So we'll go ahead and we'll just jump right on into the first topic of the day, which is Ethereum co-founder uh Ethereum co-founder says safety concerns has him quitting crypto. So Anthony D. Lorio has a co-founder of the Ethereum networks says he's done with the cryptocurrency world, particularly because of personal safety concerns. Delirio, 48 years old, has had a security team since 2017 with someone traveling with or meeting him wherever he goes. The coming weeks, he plans to sell Decentral Inc. and refocus on uh, philanthropy and other ventures not related to crypto. The Canadian expects to in time sever ties in time with other startups he is involved with and does not plan on funding any more blockchain projects. He says, it's got a risk profile that I'm not too enthused about, said Delorio, uh, who did not want to disclose his cryptocurrency holdings. I do not feel necessarily safe in this space. If I was focused on larger problems, I think I'd be safer. Goes on to say, in recent years, he jumped into venture capital investing and startup advertising. He was also for a time chief digital officer for the Toronto Stock Exchange in February of 2018. Forbes estimated his net worth as high as $1 billion. Uh, Ether's price has more than doubled since then. Said, I want to diversify, not being a crypto guy, but being a guy tackling complex problems, Delorio said. He is involved in Project Arrow, run by high school friend that's building a zero emissions vehicle. He is also consulting a senator in Paraguay. I will incorporate crypto when needed, but a lot of the times it's not, he said. It's really a small percentage of what the world needs. So realistically, I feel like when it comes to what was his name again? Anthony Delirio. I feel
There's
like
something like that.
I feel like more or less, you know, I think it was more or less one of those things where like he was wanting to get out of the crypto game anyways. Like that's something he's been wanting to do. Like after he made his money, right? After he made his initial money, he essentially was pretty well done you know, with the crypto game. From what I'm understanding, it was fun for the time being, but realistically, you know, he was probably zoomed out a long time ago, and this is kind of more of just like a late announcement, just to kind of add to the to the
Oreo.
yeah, to add to the FUD that is pretty much already going around.
Yeah, that's it's a safety concern. I don't think that. Okay, I don't really exactly understand the safety concern that everybody's crying about, right? Because at the end of the day, regardless of what the situation is, the investor is the person that controls where their money goes. So the real only safety concern is within the investor themselves. Yeah, there are scam projects. Don't get me wrong. Rug pulls, scam projects, scammers everywhere in the crypto field right now. Okay, they're at a mass, but The real only safety concern is the person that just invests and doesn't do the research to understand the risk that they're taking. You know, um,
You were saying? Well, then it looks like Underdoge is having some technical difficulties over on his end. I'm not sure what's going on, but I imagine that he will probably be popping back in here momentarily. So I guess we'll just go ahead and we'll move forward into the next topic, which is I have it categorized as under threat, which is for the specific reason of warning. The FBI has issued a serious Bitcoin and crypto alert. This is an article on Forbes. It says soaring Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices this year, making crypto a more than $1 trillion market, have attracted a wave of cyber criminals. Bitcoin demanding ransomware attacks and social media based crypto scams have become commonplace as a sudden influx of new users pour billions of dollars into digital assets. Goes on to say that now the Federal Bureau of Investigations has warned Bitcoin and cryptocurrency buyers, exchanges, and payment platforms over the growing threat of criminals looking to steal Bitcoin and crypto assets. Goes on to say that the FBI alert, first reported by Bleeping Computer, cautions users to be aware of attacks using technical support fraud, phone SIM swapping, and identity theft. SIM swapping when the attackers request a carrier transfer a phone number to a new SIM card, giving them access to incoming text messages and calls, has exploded in popularity in recent years, prompting the FBI in 2019. The increase in criminal targeting those holding Bitcoin and digital currencies comes after the Bitcoin price surged around $65,000 per coin back in April, up from around $10,000 the year before. Bitcoin is currently trading at approximately 32,000 per this article. I think we're currently sitting actually at 31 something, but uh, other smaller cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and the meme-based Dogecoin have had even bigger price increases. Cyber criminals are targeting cryptocurrency users, exchanges, and third-party payment platforms in the virtual asset industry, resulting in large amounts of financial loss to victims. The FBI alerted alert issued a system for distributing sensitive information to selected groups and individuals called Traffic Light Protocol. Reportedly read. Once the stolen cryptocurrency has been transferred to the attacker's controlled accounts, it can be hard for law enforcement to recover it, said the FBI. The FBI advised financial and crypto companies to check the origin of emails and keep an eye on recent created accounts, while those buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were encouraged to use multi-factor authentication, meaning they have to access at least two devices or accounts linked to the platform, avoiding download requests, remote access applications, and any unofficial company communication channels. So essentially, what the FBI is saying is They're saying, "Hey guys, just so you know, there's all kinds of digital hacking going on, like for instance, you can get your SIM card switched out, which I some of the things that they say in there I don't quite understand, just for the simple fact that I think most people are fairly knowledgeable to it. A lot of people honestly don't even check their emails, and when they do, they're generally only checking their emails for something more recent. I would say that when it comes to these scams that happen, I would say that they're a lot more uncommon, and they specifically go after people that are already unknowledgeable about the digital space. And for the most part, when it comes to cryptocurrency users, for the most part, you can say that they're fairly well versed when it comes to scams and things like that. Though that's not to say that we don't see those occurrences. But the interesting thing about it is they say that specifically they're trying to use ransomware attackers, are specifically like they're using they specifically refer to Bitcoin, and I'm just like, we all know that in reality, when it came to the Colonial Pipeline hack or whatever, they didn't pay it in Bitcoin. The like in all reality, I don't think that would happen with the Colonial Pipeline. Uh I don't think it was done by any nefarious actor outside of this country.
I got booted out of the Discord server because my phone's junk, I think. So let me get this right. This article is saying that there's a lot of hacking going on in the crypto space. Is that what I'm understanding? And they're using like ransomware or like SIM cards or something. Is that what I was understanding? Because
Yeah, essentially all they were doing is giving a very broad scope of information about cyber attacks of varying types, because they talk about people stealing your your SIM card information, so that way they can see your text messages and your phone calls. That's what they say right
I
here.
mean,
But it's just like,
they definitely. All right, so there's a TikTok. Excuse me. There's a TikTok channel that I follow, and this guy is a hacker for a living, right? And that's what he does. And he had this software on his computer where he could literally see everything you just said, and even more. Control the camera, control the microphone. Could even go in there and change your passwords. Watch everything you type. So if you're typing in credit card information or even very important information such as private keys for your wallet, they can totally get into your wallet and or your phone and those objects. They can definitely get your SIM card information, which personally, like, let's be real, your SIM card only holds certain information for your phone, like location, like a GPS location, and obviously like a programming number being the IMEI number, and a couple other little model numbers and stuff like that, data wise, inside your phone. Like, it doesn't really hold very much information, like, unless you have a actual memory card in there, like, as if we're talking about SIM card, as in being like the one that they program with your phone number on there. I can't imagine people are storing very much information on that thing at all whatsoever. So some of the things they say in these articles are very facetious anyways, but crypto attacks are for real, and they're happening.
well, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Quite
I'm just
often.
saying that,
Email? Yeah. I imagine that they would be using email to do this as well, because then it can hack your phone and get your private keys,
yeah, I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is that when it comes to this article, like, they essentially talk about cyber hacking as a whole, and then they just kind of like throw in cryptocurrency in there. And this is kind of like a perfect example of like a FUD article
Well,
because
nobody's
there there's
nobody's hacking Bitcoin.
well, what I'm saying is like this article specifically, it doesn't have a lot of girth to it in comparison,
Right.
to like some of the more realistic articles. But like, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next topic, which is crypto exchange Binance stopped selling digital versions of stocks like Tesla and Apple as regulators circle. Says
Hmm.
Binance will no longer offer digital versions of stocks like Tesla, Apple, and Coinbase as the cryptocurrency exchange faces growing pressure from regulators around the world. The world's top digital currency exchange by trading volume said in a blog spot Friday that it would end its support for stock tokens, crypto assets tied to the value of certain shares. Binance has offered tokens through partnerships for or with CM Equity AG, a licensed investment firm based in Germany. According to Binance, each token was fully backed by the shares held by them. Binance said that stock tokens were unavailable for purchase on the website effective immediately, and the company will cease to support any stock tokens after October 14th. The users may sell or hold them over the next 90 days. European users will be able to move their holdings over to a new portal from CM Equity AG roughly 2 to 4 weeks before Binance closes all positions October 15th. It goes on to say the company said the decision was taken to shift our commercial focus to other product offerings in April. Germany financial watchdog investor warned investors that Binance had likely violated security rules by launching its stock tokens, adding that the company faced potential fines for not publishing investor prospectus for uh, an industry industries. Oh man, I'm having a bad day. As the crypto ecosystem evolves and Binance grows as a company, we are continually evaluating our products and are working with our partners to meet our users' needs. A Binance spokesperson said to CNBC. We take our legal obligations very seriously and engage with regulators and law enforcement in a collaborative fashion. We do not comment on the specific matters or inquiries. So there's, Binance is getting some tremendous pressure.
Yeah, I just look, because the fact of the matter that they haven't regulated the stock tokens here in America, um, and opened that market to us, I just don't see that it's that great of a market, because you can't be in America and use Binance at all whatsoever. You have to use Binance US, right?
Right.
So the stock tokens aren't available to us. I just don't think it's a very suitable market because only one half of the world, for the most part, can really get into it. I mean, Canada probably can, Mexico probably can, but America can't. And this is where a lot of money comes from. So, especially in the stock market and the Forex market. So, with that being said, I just think that, this is a good move, honestly, for Binance, depending on what their next product is going to be afterwards. We can only see. I mean, hopefully they come out. Hopefully they come out with something that's going to help the ecosystem evolve, and instead of like some kind of other offering, like a different type of token or something, like hopefully they because we got enough tokens as it is right now. Hopefully they come out with something that'll improve the network or make it evolve somehow in a more beneficial way for the users.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to end up depending on where we go moving forward, right? I think it's just going to kind of depend on what lawmakers decide to do if they're going to continue to pit this extreme pressure onto onto them, or if they're going to start kind of letting up as they start to follow more of the rules that they've dictated.
Well, see, the only reason why they're applying so much pressure to Binance is just because Binance sees more money than most of the exchanges on the face of the earth. Like, they are the number one exchange. And everybody keeps, harping about Coinbase. Well, it's just because Coinbase, is like following regulations, you know what I'm saying? And by the IRS and all the government loopholes. And not saying Binance isn't, because Binance probably most definitely is. I can only imagine if you got that much inflow of money and outflow of money that you definitely are crossing paths with them people at least twice a week, And
Yeah.
so I can imagine that they got their I's dotted and their T's crossed in that department, so they're taking care of there. But it just seems like Binance sees like more traders, like how you wouldn't expect to go to like.
Well, do you know why I think? Do you know why I think they're putting so much pressure on Binance and not some of the other exchanges?
I think it's more because the
What's
unregulated tokens.
well, what's the second biggest exchange?
Um, I honestly I couldn't really tell you, to be honest with you, but because there's so many good ones out there right now. But in my opinion, I would have to say, uh, ooh,
Coinbase.
Bitrix.
Coinbase is
Okay,
they're pretty much like number two. But
I guess
who
Coinbase is probably
who's involved with Coinbase?
well, Elon Musk.
Digital Currency Group.
Well, then okay, digital currency group, but I mean that's where Elon bought all his Bitcoin through is Coinbase.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that Binance essentially doesn't want to be involved with Digital Currency Group, and so I'm feeling like digital, like
Oh,
they might be trying to, give a little
okay.
push.
So I don't know. I've never even heard of this company, digital currency group. Somebody I'm gonna have to go check into because it sounds like Binance is trying to avoid them, right? From what you're saying,
Well, it's not necessarily that they're trying to avoid them. It's just like they don't want to be like involved with them.
like partnered up with them or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which would make sense, like why? Because then all of a sudden your app just becomes even more centralized. Like theirs is I'll say theirs is like loosely centralized. You know what I'm saying?
So
Like, yeah,
here,
you have 2FA, you gotta put that's the exchange.
this is
But
this is Digital Currency Group right here.
when it really comes down to Binance's network itself, it's really pretty much decentralized, but the exchange itself is kind of centralized because you got to add information. So,
Right. So, Digital Currency Group, they essentially, here's their subsidiaries, right? Genesis, Grayscale, CoinDesk, Foundry, Luno, you know. Digital Currency Group,
okay.
they're in some
These are
powerful
the
places.
companies that they own.
No, this is their subsidiaries.
Okay.
But so I mean, like they're a pretty powerful group of like like it's not like some small like some small group of business people just starting up. Like
That's the money.
they're some pretty heavy hitters in the in the digital space. And so I feel like
Of course.
there's that potential there's that potential possibility that since Binance doesn't want to play ball with them, they're just like, well, we're just gonna take you off the field.
That isn't that the goal? I mean, that's what they've been trying to do to XRP since, XRP didn't want to team up with any of these people either. You know, XRP was I didn't really look into the history, but I can imagine that it's probably a similar thing. Look, now they're involved with the SEC, and all this crap, and they keep kicking the SEC's ass in court. So it's like you just got this money that just pushes this false narrative about companies or something, and then they get pressure applied by the lawmakers because that money's forcing these lawmakers to push that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so it's really hard to combat that. Not saying that Binance doesn't have the money to combat that, because I'm sure they they can create currency any day. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally go on and create a new blockchain tomorrow and have a whole new cryptocurrency. You know what I'm saying? Like if they wanted to, they could come out with like Binance 40 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They could combat it, but it's so hard when you have all these people that have that money and that are in power getting all these governments involved to try and come down on you for, whatever reason they're trying to come down on you. That doesn't even really make any sense, because are they really coming down on, the banking industry's that hard? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's millionaires who got offshore accounts with billions of dollars just hanging out there. They ain't ever got to pay taxes on any of it. So, like, what the heck, man? I think they need to lay off Binance, let things cool down in the cryptocurrency industry, stop poking their nose around so heavy, and stop trying to be a third party in between the people and the crypto exchanges, because that we don't need that, and then just let the crypto do its thing.
right.
That's kind of just how I feel about it. But they're just, they always want to be nosy, man. They got to put their nose in everything.
We'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next bit, which is Coinbase CEO hits back at Dogecoin creator after attack on cult-like Bitcoin and crypto price culture. So you remember the other day we were talking about how Jackson Palmer had a series
Yeah,
of You remember how we were having that conversation? So it says the
a
world of Bit
series of tweets, right?
Yeah, so the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has been rocked this week by an attack on crypto by the co-creator of the meme-based Dogecoin, something he said he made as a joke. In a series of tweets, Jackson Palmer, who developed a tongue-in-cheek Dogecoin in 2013, so on and so forth. Essentially, he says that
Didn't he say
it
something like he wish
inherently
never would have made it?
well, it's like he says right here, quoted. It says an inherently right wing, hyper capitalistic technology built primarily to amplify the wealth of the prominent through a combination of tax avoidance, diminished regulatory oversight, and artificially enforced scarcity. Now, the chief executive of Bitcoin and crypto exchange Coinbase has a hit back at Palmer, arguing crypto is simply providing an alternative for people who want more freedom, and Bitcoin has made so many people wealthy. Um, Goes on to say, if you believe the government should be the solution to the people's problem, then the fiat system the fiat system with its control has a lot to offer. Armstrong, who has courted controversy with the no politics at work policy at Coinbase, said that as part of the lengthy Twitter thread, crypto is not going to solve wealth inequality. It's not trying to create the same outcome for everyone, Armstrong wrote, but it does create wealth mobility and more equality for opportunity for everyone. It's a level. It levels the playing field at least some to some degree. The Bitcoin price has climbed from pennies to at the beginning of the last decade to over 30,000 per coin today, creating a $1 trillion cryptocurrency market. Many overnight early adopters became overnight millionaires. Bitcoin has created a mysterious was created by a mysterious person or persons known as Satoshi Nakamoto, whose true identity remains unknown. It says with the number of the attempts to create digital currencies has been tried before. Bitcoin's blockchain technology solved the so-called double spend problem with a distributed ledger maintained by miners in return for freshly minted Bitcoin tokens. Armstrong commented. Comments were in response to Palmer's claim that the whole cryptocurrency industry is an exploitive scam that only benefits the wealthy. Cryptocurrency industry leverages a network of shady business connections, bot influencers, and pay-for-play media outlets to perpetuate a cult-like get-rich-quick funnel designed to extract new money from the financial desperate and naive. Palmer posted earlier this week in a thread that quickly went viral. Financial exploitation undoubtedly existed before cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency is almost purpose built to make a funnel for profiteering more efficient for those at the top and less safeguarded for those that are vulnerable. That's what Jackson Palmer was saying, and essentially what Armstrong said was that you're full of shit. He's like it's realistically something that just makes it more of a level playing field. And I mean, in all reality, how is
Yeah.
somebody that what did it say? What did it say over here in the
Well,
beginning about said it only grew to a value of 25 billion, branded the entire cryptocurrency market. So I mean, it's just like out of that 25 billion, how much do you think Jackson Palmer actually still secretly owned?
25 billion what?
This is the value of Dogecoin.
That's what the
Like
value of his Dogecoin was?
no. It says in Dogecoin in 2013 for only for okay, hold on. Jackson Palmer, who developed a tongue-in-cheek Dogecoin in 2013, only for it to grow to a value of 25 billion. So it's saying that the value of 25 billion is like where Dogecoin was sitting at during the writing of this article.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely, because we've
But
seen it way higher than 25 billion.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, out of that 25 billion, like, how much do you think he still secretly owned in Dogecoin? You know what I
Uh,
mean?
I think, well, I think at the time of this article, he probably didn't own any. He probably sold it off already
Oh yeah, I'm
at 70.
sure.
He probably sold off at 70 cents because of the way he's acting right now. And you'd be surprised. Money changes people, man. And if he made millions off of, or even billions off of Dogecoin at the time that it hit 70 cents, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why he's acting this way. Is because he got so much money and now he's like, all right, I'm out. Screw it. This is what Dogecoin is. Blah blah blah. I just want to
Well, I mean,
spread
he's
fun.
he's he
Just
sold.
want to spread blood because he can now because he's sitting on millions and he ain't got to do shit no more.
Well, I think the co-founder of Dogecoin. I think all the original founders, yeah, all the original founders of Dogecoin, like they're no longer involved with the development of Dogecoin,
Yeah,
so I mean,
which
when it
is
comes,
really strange.
well, it's just because like they just ended up getting out of it, way back when. We could end up doing like a Dogecoin story later on, but yeah, essentially they ended up getting out, earlier on. It was sometime in the 20 teens, I could tell you that. It started in
Yeah,
2013, but it
this is,
was like I think it was like maybe it was like 2015. I can't really remember, but Anyways, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next topic, which is kind
Well,
of like
Billy made a statement in response to this too, right? This
yeah,
article. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to read it all, but I briefly read it earlier, and yeah, I don't know. Seems like he was still in support of his partner. So
right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll move into this last bit, which is kind of just, a nice little story. It says how this Seattle entrepreneur went from running a food truck to leading a fast growing crypto startup. More than a year after shutting down his popular Korean Mexican food truck and catering business, Bomba Fusion, Seattle entrepreneur Simon Yu checked checked in from Mexico where he worked remotely and the subject turned to food. Says, I had tacos here yesterday. I love Mexican food. I think our tacos are really good. The combination of Mexican and Korean food really goes well together. It says, you may be done with making tacos for tech workers in Seattle, but he's plenty business. He's plenty busy cooking up another success story with his current startup, StormX, a cryptocurrency platform he co-founded in 2015, and is still feasting on the lessons of persistence he learned long ago while struggling to make ends meet at a University of Washington. To make ends meet as a University of Washington student. Earlier this month, you and StormX landed a coveted sponsorship deal with the Portland Trailblazers, the NBA team grew up rooting for. We caught up to learn more about Yu's startup journey. So essentially, this is a story about like one of the co-creators of StormX. It says you grew up in Portland in Lake Osagowo. Oh man, he grew up in Portland. Everyone. When he moved to Seattle, we attended he to attend UW. His parents were still running a small frozen yogurt shop near Portland, but they ran into troubles and declared bankruptcy when U was a sophomore. I was paying out of state tuition, and I told my dad that there's a lot of pressure right now, so I'm just going to drop out and just work and try to save enough money so I can go back to college. He ended up working as a bank teller, but the barely minimum wage job wasn't enough to pay for rent, student loans, food, etc. For months, he was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was either find a second job or try to start his own business. I wanted to sell these Korean tacos to kids around our campus to make some side income. Using his mom's Korean barbecue recipe, you assembled a simple tacos in his apartment and sold them for $3 to students working late hours at UW's Odegaard Library. Um, Kickstarted by $100 he borrowed from his dad at the age of 19, and with no experience in the food industry, let alone starting his own business, you eventually turned the Bomba Fusion taco truck into a reality. I'm a quick learner. I think that's one thing that I learned from becoming an entrepreneur for 10 years. You said we just we were just able to keep figuring out problems, finding better spots, and business started really picking up. You was still working in banking while running the truck in 2014 and developed an interest in Bitcoin. Uh, it was then he met Calvin Heshish, a UW computer science graduate who was also into the Burgonian cryptocurrency. I don't know. Hashesh was looking for side work. He was working on a Bitcoin application, just a simple consumer app that paid users like 2/10 of a penny for watching a video ad. Wanted to do he just wanted he oh my lord he just wanted to do the startup full time after college, and he needed some money for the cost of living. He applied as the food truck manager. After about a year and a half, Yu quit his banking job and focused on Bomba Fusion as the truck pick as the truck picked up, while also pouring his money into survival cake codes. The Bitcoin startup Hashish founded that you joined. You said it was tough getting funds in Seattle because everyone thought Bitcoin was money laundering or drug smuggling or some kind of drug smuggling operation. The startup was bootstraps for a few years, and you drove for Uber and Lyft as he worked to pay down his student loans. But by 2016, they were accepted into 9 Miles Labs startup accelerator, pitching cake codes on demo day as a gamified way to help businesses acquire new customers. They landed angel funding towards the beginning of 2017 as crypto picked up and the product was doing well. You said they ended up raising a ton of money towards the end of 2017. At the same time, Hashish went on to become manager, web developer, and eventually co-owner of Fusion Bomba, and Cake Codes evolved into StormX. The StormX success. StormX is primarily a cash-backed application, so whenever users shop from Nike or eBay or Adidas or any of the hundreds of stores that StormX offers, they can earn cash back in the form of cryptocurrency, which can be redeemed as Bitcoin, Ethereum, or StormX's own tokens. Users can also do a couple of micro tasks, playing games, or check out different apps to earn money as well. Overall, what we are trying to build at StormX is a marketplace where people can just come and find different ways to earn money online, and that really stems from Calvin and myself always desperately looking for ways to earn money through all these different jobs and stuff. We're trying to create a simple platform where anyone anywhere across the world could just come and use our app and earn a little bit of side income or primary income, whatever it may be. So StormX has attracted global audience in more than 150 countries. The app has more than 3 million downloads and paid out more than $4 million in rewards to date. Total funding for the startup is now at 38.7 million. So I mean, we talked about StormX and we talked about how they had gotten how they had gotten their that deal with the Trailblazers. And so it's really interesting to learn about the story about people who this kid, he started out as just this college student at the University of Washington. His family went through some financial issues, and so essentially he decided that he just couldn't handle having any more student debt, and so he dropped out, hoping that he could later on go back to college. As he was doing that, he realized that he had a passion for food to, I guess, a certain extent. Otherwise he wouldn't have chose making these tacos. So he kind of enjoyed doing that to an extent, and then he kind of learned from being an entrepreneur and having essentially his Mexican Korean taco truck, right? And so he essentially took that knowledge from the what was it called, the Bomba Fusion. He took that knowledge and then he applied it to this new venture that he had started up with Calvin Hashish, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And that's how we ended up with StormX where it is today right now. And I think it's a really important thing for people to see that it doesn't really matter where you're at in life right now, because 5-10 years from now your life could be so dramatically different that you really shouldn't be beating yourself up for for mistakes that happen right now, because you could very well be looking at that and been like, yeah, that really sucked at that time, but I've learned from all of these things so much that I'm now to a point to where I can move forward successfully like I have been here in these recent years, or whatever it might be. But that's essentially, I guess you could say, a short breakdown, or not necessarily a short breakdown, but a breakdown of Simon Yu, or Wu, however his name's pronounced. How StormX essentially came into being. So we'll go ahead and move into the last topic, which is thoughts, comments, and concerns. So, this is essentially an area where we can talk about the topics that we've been talking about throughout, and how we feel about them, or if we want to bring up any new projects or anything like that. This is the time where we'll go ahead and start doing that.
Right on.
So
What's the last one?
it's just thoughts, comments, and concerns. So just going over things that
I
we've
guess
discussed over the stream, or if there's any
the
projects you want
last
to talk
topic
about.
was, well, that last topic was kind of cool. That's sweet that he had a taco truck, and that's how he like pretty much funded this token by working at the bank in the taco truck. That's cool. That's
Well,
an
he
inspiring
started
story.
with the taco truck.
Well, I'm just saying that's inspiring. You start with a taco truck and look where you can get. You just don't ever stop. Don't stop believing in yourself. So, some of my thoughts, some of the comments about this, I feel strongly in agreement with Brian Armstrong. That's his name, right? Brian Armstrong,
Yeah, I
the
believe so.
CEO of Coinbase, I think. CEO or CFO or whatever he is of Coinbase. Um, I feel real strongly with him. I agree with him. Like what he was telling, Jackson Palmer essentially. Um, since the crypto isn't the problem, man. It's the future, and it's not our fault being as investors, me and you, or developers, or blockchain and crypto enthusiasts, and people in our shoes or deeper shoes, that are actually pushing blockchains and making them function right now, right?
Right.
So it's not their fault that people are doing the same thing they've been doing since the money system is created, right?
Right.
Because ever since money's created, people have been scamming. Ever since a form of any
Currency.
kind of currency, exactly, like fur for a leather, right? Or potato for a ham, right? Or something of that nature, okay? Sack of potatoes for 7 corn stalks or whatever. That's currency, right? So essentially you're taking one product and selling it for the other, and you're making the value right there. So ever since that started, there's been schemes, scammers, people always trying to take oh, I got a sack of potatoes for your corn. Okay, cool. Boom, you're dead, and they take your potatoes, It's been like that forever. So people cannot just come in and then just start making those comments and start blaming,
Well,
developers or blockchain companies or cryptocurrency itself for what human nature is going to do.
right.
Regardless, people are going to research and get their investments right or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't just be like, "Oh, it's cryptocurrency's fault." Well, it's really not. It's primarily the market and the people that are involved in there that aren't involved for the right reasons. That's whose fault it is.
Yeah, so what I was
And then
gonna
it's
say, was that he references that essentially it's it's just a platform to make a transfer of wealth, right? For all these new people to get in, so all these people who have been in for a while can then be rich. And so that essentially that's all it's about it's that cryptocurrency is essentially about stealing money from new investors and essentially like the poor, and then it being transferred over to the rich. And what's really funny about that is that if you look at like the stock exchange, for instance, what is one of the things that retail investors get crushed by in the stock exchange? The hedge funds, right? So who's making the money whenever the retail investors are getting crushed? The hedge funds. So the rich people. So to say that like, oh, this is just just some essentially like some kind of scheme or a Ponzi scheme or whatever. It's just like in reality, you can take any platform of any kind that involves money, and it can become problematic once big players start to get in it, because if the game is like how much money you put in hopes of things going up or down is how much you're going to make, then at the end of the day, guess what? You're going to have those same type of issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really understand. I did. I don't know. I didn't really understand why he said, well, this is an attack on new investors. I can understand that, yes, there may be an implementation of attack on new investors, that they're drawing new investors into the crypto so that way they can just kind of leave them broke type of deal. But and transfer of wealth from the new investors to the wealthy. Personally, I quite think it's the opposite. And I think it's a transfer of wealth from the wealthy to the new generations, right? That's what I think. And I think that that's why we're seeing so much static in the market right now, is because they don't want to lose health. And pretty much our generation has become millionaires off of cryptocurrency, and they don't want that. So that's kind of why I think that that article was made, was, kind of to spread some FUD to try to keep people away from crypto. So that way they, the big players could get their hands dirtier. But you never know. Well, that's just what I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely,
I
I
follow
definitely
with what
don't
you're
think it's
saying.
I
It
don't think it's like really a targeted thing on new investors. I just think new investors happen to jump in like, oh, crypto, oh, heck yeah, let's go, boom, and just full speed right into it without doing their own research. And then that becomes their problem, and then they're screwed because they didn't do enough research. But then you'll find like these new investors that come out and just do that, and then they blame projects because they lost money. So it's like there's just a lot of education is needed right now. And for, somebody like him to come out and spread freaking FUD like that, though, is just like, come on, man. You should be educating people about this, not calling the project you created a right-wing attack freaking Ponzi scheme.
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Anything else that you want to talk about before we close out the show for the night?
Actually, I really haven't been. This has been a really rough week for me, man. Lots of stuff on my mind and plate. So I really haven't been paying attention to a lot of projects or marketing or anything that's really going on. But Noob Token's doing some really nice things. So, we talked about them last time, obviously, and I talk about them a lot. I just really like what they're doing. And their project is going to become probably platinum like on a platter right now, because their project is definitely one that's going to be needed right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll just have to kind of see where their project ends up going, but I'm
Yeah,
definitely a firm believer in them being, you know, them being a project that will last. That it'll
well,
end up becoming a more mainline project through time.
I just think that they're going to be like platinum on a platter for a moment here very soon, because right now education is mostly needed, right? Like in the cryptocurrency, a lot of these people are needing education on how to spot, certain things and how to avoid certain things, and how they need to learn terminologies, and they're not doing the research for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they are, but they're not. They're just not interpreting the research in a manner that I feel Noob Token's going to be offering. And so they launched that new listing. We pulled that up last time. We were looking that up. That was pretty sweet. But they're doing updates to it. They got a new UI and new UX update coming out. So that's going to be pretty sweet. See a little better user interface. Other than that, man, kind of since my wallet got hacked, I just kind of haven't really been getting into too many projects. Feg token's doing good. Token, we got that giveaway going on Twitter. So, check out the Crypto ITV Twitter page for that AMP token giveaway. And, so, I mean, those are some of the projects I've been following. And that's about it. Burn one, and hold gold and Weave token. And just a few others. Obviously, the same ones that I've been talking about. Haven't really been trying to get into any new projects. There is one though called Baby BUSD, which Binance USD. I guess if you purchase some of the token and hold it in your wallet, that it returns you BUSD rewards. So I thought that was pretty cool. And one of my friends in like 5 days already made $500 in rewards.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, so that's something if anybody, do your own research. I'm not telling you to invest, but if you're interested, check it out. Go ahead and check it out all the way around. I do also want to shout out to my friends at rugscreenapp.com. They're trying really diligently to help protect the space. They have a scanner, and you can take any contract address that you feel is fishy, shoot right over their website, connect your wallet, scan the contract. I think it's for just gas fees or something, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. And then if it's a rug pull, it'll tell you right there on the spot. And you can even, send them emails with contracts that you think are fishy, or that have rug pulled you or whatnot, and they'll list it on their app and their website.
Well, you've heard it here, folks. So I think we're gonna go ahead and close it out for the night. So you guys hold it together over the weekend, and we'll see you again come Monday. Other than that, have a good one, and Crypto Invest is out.